And welcome back, everyone, to the FX Open Invitational Series. I am Unstable, joined here by Railcoon. We are going to jump into our final match here for Group E. It is going to be Squirtle versus Violet. So it is going to be Daybreak for Game 1. Now, last time we saw Daybreak come through, Violet actually took the win in their first set, which Squirtle took down 2-1. But now they have a rematch, so let's see if Violet can make it through Squirtle this time. Of course, up here at the top right, we have our red Protoss player. It is going to be StarTails Squirtle. And then down here at the bottom left, we are going to have our pink Zerg is going to be a Violet. So, interesting matchup between these two guys. It was very back and forth in their first set. So I don't think it's okay to say there's any clear favorite for this one at all. What do you think, Railcoon?
Yeah, last time they played on this map, Violet got that really quick 3-base, powered drones really hard, played pretty greedy, and took the win. Squirtle didn't really adjust to that in Game 3. He just played a little bit safer and went straight to late game.
Yeah.
And then managed to pull out the win. So I'll be curious to see if he does the same thing here now that they're playing once again in the final match. If he just anticipates the same build from Squirtle since he is blocking, or from Violet since he is blocking the hatchery once again, and then just tries to go straight into late game. But he's having a hard time trying to get Pylon down this time.
Yeah,
so
Violet is
actually going to be able to get the hatchery down completely unblocked.
Doesn't really make that big of a difference though. Like, so many Zergs have gotten so used to actually having to have their hatchery at their third, and they're taking the natural. They take a quick third anyway, especially with the Nexus first that we've seen from Squirtle yet again. A Forge down is now down, of course, as well, but nothing really out of the ordinary between both these two players, to be honest. From the way they've played before, really. Yeah.
It just means that the first hatch is going to be a little bit safer than it was previously, since it's at his natural and not at the third. But Squirtle wasn't really choosing to pressure that when it was at the third before. So like you said, it's not really going to change a whole lot. This Overlord for Violet is in kind of an awkward position, forced to fly over into the corner. But he can kind of use that to his advantage later on, fly it in, Suicide Scout a little bit later. And his Nexus is finishing up. He's pretty safe against any Zerglings that decide to come in. He's checking the third base to make sure there isn't a pylon here, because that's another thing that Squirtle was doing. Finds this completely clear again, so he gets both hatches down very, very quickly. But yeah, the probe is over here, so possibility of cannons. On this map, you can wall off a couple cannons behind the minerals here.
Yeah, this is very dangerous. Of course, it looks like he is coming back just in case he ruptures it, so he's going to see this now anyway. It's been a while since we've actually seen, well, in our tournaments anyway, we've actually seen someone cannon a third base, because everyone's just gotten so on top of it that it's, like, if you try to do it, you always end up behind anyway. So that's very interesting.
What was it that happened in recently? Was that GSTL? Where somebody did that and managed to pull it off?
I can't remember off the top of my head. All I know is it definitely hasn't been in any of the games we've seen this weekend.
Not in our games, but there was another big event where somebody managed to pull it off recently.
If you're like a cannon rush in general, there was one last weekend in GSTL, but I'm talking about the specific situation of the third hatch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we are going to see a Stargate follow up by Squirtle. It's at right at the front here. It might actually be seen if Violet decides to run a Zergling up into the front of that wall off, but probably not going to happen. It looks like he's going to sit back, just get some extra queens, see how he's going there. No gas just yet for him, but that's pretty standard for the way he's been playing.
Yeah, I would assume he's probably just going to go for the get single Void Ray, clear out Overlords, and switch into a couple Phoenixes. So we've been seeing more often from the Protest players recently. And we do see that Violet is powering out drones really hard, like he did the previous time on this map. Is adding 3 gas this time instead of going straight for the 2. So there's a little bit of variation from what we saw the first time on Daybreak. Getting a little bit more gas a little earlier this time. But the first Void Ray is on the way. This Overlord did pop in, and I think he saw the Stargate. Yes, he did. He saw the Void Ray as well. But these 2 Overlords here at least are too far in the enemy lines to really get away successfully. But the other Overlords are withdrawing, getting back to safer positions against the incoming Void Ray.
Yeah, alrighty. So we do have creep spread starting to be pushed out here now. Violet knows what's coming. He's got those extra queens. He's got that Evo chamber just in case. But there's only one Stargate. He only saw one Stargate. He's now seen the Void Ray first, so he's not going to really be worried about putting down too many Spore Crawlers. With the Queens, he should be able to defend just fine. However, with these extra 3 gateways coming out, if Squirtle decides to push out with a gateway force and the Void Rays, that could be quite difficult for him to deal with. 4th gateway now, so it's going to be 5 in total, 6 in total coming out from Squirtle.
Yeah, this is actually not even a Phoenix follow-up. This is a complete fake-out by Squirtle. He's going straight into 6 gates, going for a timing attack, and he has forced a decent number of Spore Crawlers from Violet. There's a Spore Crawler at least at every base. And that's a few drones down. If you look at the worker count, it is 64 drones. So it's not quite as high as it was previously, and Squirtle is going for this gateway timing. We'll see how this works out. The Roach Warren is only just starting, so this isn't going to be out in time to have the Roaches deflect. Void Ray coming out to do some more harassment, but he should be picking up on the fact that there's no Phoenixes with this by now, and be preparing for the ground attack.
Yeah, well, +1 is about to finish just shortly. Warp Gate research is done. Do we have any forward pylons by Squirtle? No, we don't. However, there is this Queen off creep now. Void Ray cannot fight that one-on-one, though. And there is now the lair is done. We've got the Roach Warren finishing up as well. Macro Hatch, Infestation Pits down instantly, too. It's going to be very interesting. But oh, look at this. We actually see him going forwards. Just like in that last game we saw him play on Daybreak. Going straight into that 3rd base. However,
yeah, Zerglings are trying to be distracting here, trying to buy a little bit of time, like we saw him do on Cloud Kingdom.
Oh, all of these Stalkers gonna get caught.
Take out all those Stalkers, but the problem is there's no sentry here, and Violet will actually back off, but there's a chance he could have forced his way through, and that would have meant that, you know, he wouldn't have been able to warp in for this attack at the 3rd base, so that might have actually been quite good. But he is pulling everything back to try and defend. Some nice force fields going down. Perfect force fields actually blocking out all the Zerglings down there. Now only half the Zerglings are here to engage. Another good set of force fields while the Stalkers come in to support. Squirtle actually walking right over that army, and like I was saying, the Roach is just not out fast enough. He's doing a pretty good job with these force fields, cutting through all of these Zerglings without really any zealots.
Yeah, exactly. The brilliant force field positioning by Squirtle here. And there's really nothing that Violet can do. He's trying to re-max with Zerglings now, but he's going to lose the 3rd base regardless. These Void Rays are charged up as well. And he's just going to keep walking forward. And is there much energy left on these sentries? Not really. So his next engagement, if there's enough Zerglings, he might be okay. He's got 6 Infestors on the way, but they're going to come out a little bit too late here, I feel. And here we go. We got more force fields going down, but there's so many Zerglings. At the same time, they take quite a while to take out Stalkers. I don't think there's going to be enough.
Yeah, the only benefit here is that Void Rays are actually incapable of charging on Zerglings. So they are stuck on the level 1 charge here, but he's still going to be able to take out all the Zerglings. And force the engagement there right before the Infestors pops out really means there's not really anything he can do once they do pop out. So there's the GG. Squirtle will take game number 1.
Yeah, nice timing given here by Squirtle, and congratulations to him. He will go 1 up in this final match here. 1 more map for Squirtle, and he will advance into the round of 32 for the FX Open Invitational. We'll be right back with game number 2 between Squirtle and Violet for our final match.